In this assignment, we are going to have an introduction to SPSS. Some of the things we're going to look at is importing data from Excel, labeling labels, create age categories by using recode, splitting the data, and creating an output file. We might do a few things on the way, but this is basically your assignment is just limited to this page, and you will upload it when you are done. Alright, so let's start out by loading a file. So let's download the Chow Ortho-K dataset. And we'll call this up, hopefully. So, oh, here it comes. All right. Let's enable editing. Now, as mentioned previously, we have set view freeze panes so that you can scroll way down, but the row headings are still present. You can scroll to the right, but the IDs are still present. There's this junk data set at the end. Whoops. Thanks. You can go down there. There's this junk data set at the end of this that you can delete either now or later. But the important thing with this is we're on row 6, and SPSS is going to take the first row and make labels out of it when we import it. And the first row is probably blank. So we go into View, Freeze Panes. We're going to unfreeze the panes so that we can go up and see that we have all these blanks we have to get rid of. So blanks, get rid of. Right click, delete. Okay, now we can save this file. And it's just saving it in the download area, which is where we can have it for now. Alright, let's go to SPSS, open up that, and then we're going to get rid of this screen for the moment. We're going to go to File, Open, Data. We're going to go to Download. That's where I saved it. Automatically goes to downloads on my system. Oh, and we want an Excel file. So it shows nothing looking for SPSS files. And I think I'm actually down to about this one. And we'll see what happens. Yes, so see we have the row labels, or the column labels in the above here. And if your data doesn't happen to be in the first spreadsheet, you click on this little arrow and see the other sheets that are available to you. This is the only one here, so this is the one we use. Say OK. Now we're in variable view here. A couple of things we can notice is that age has 15 decimal points, which is a little ridiculous, and we don't want that. I will double click on age, which takes me back to this line item, and I'm going to, I can either scroll down or hit this little arrow bar down to, say, 2 decimals, or I can highlight it, say 8. Now we look at it. Oops, look at it here. And age is right here. That's axis. Where's age? Right here, we've got it to 2 decimals. That's still kind of a lot. Let's have age be 1 decimal. Where's age? Oh, for Pete's sake. Age is 1 decimal. So we're at that point. All right. So we have been able to successfully import an Excel file into an SPSS file. Now what do we want to do? Well, what do we want to do? Let's see what's next. Oh, we want to set some labels. Yes, that would be a very good idea. Labels are very good for historically marking things so that when you come back later, you can remember what you did. Plus, if you set the labels, your tables, you can get tables that come out that make sense. So we're going to do lens type. Notice we're not setting labels, we're setting values to our variables. And the way you do this is up in this first one, we're going to put in a 0. So I'm pressing 0 and then hitting tab to bring me down to the next level. And this is 0 is spherical. Then I hit return to go to add. So it's type in the value 1, tab, aspherical, enter. And your fingers don't have to leave the keyboard, and it's pretty nice. Let's try another one. Let's go to lens, this is the thing we call lens type 2. In this case, 1 is aspherical, 2 is spherical, good fit, which we'll talk about later. 3 is spherical, bad fit. Okay. And now we have our labels. So that now when you click on these, you can see it says spherical, good fit. And notice though, if we click on that cell right there that says spherical, it retains the original 0. And some of the SPSS functions don't like labels. I is labeled as left and right could potentially give us trouble. All right, another thing we want to do is recode. So let's go to transform. Well, before we do that, let's look at the distribution of our ages. So we're going to go to Analyze, Descriptive Frequencies. We're going to put age in here. And then we want to make a chart, a histogram. We could show the normal distribution on top, but we don't really want to do that. Continue. We're not going to list out all the different ages and their frequencies, so we're going to uncheck that box. We'll say OK. And so what we get is a histogram, where down here we have the various ages on the x-axis and the number of times they show up in the database. So this value here, which is around 12, had almost 40 kids that, well, actually it's 40 eyes that would have been at that age. All right, we notice that this is almost kind of bimodal, and 11.5 looks like a pretty nice place to split that. So let's go into transform, and then we're going to recode into a different variable. You can recode into the same variable if you want to, but we can preserve our original age if we recode into a different variable. We're going to bring age over here, and we're going to recode into CAge. We'll give that a category label, or a label, category age, or age category. And then we're going to go to old and new values, and we're going to say range lowest value through 11.5. We're going to say as a 1. Let's make that a 0. It's always good in binary variables, because we're just going to have two categories, to have 1 as a 0. That's helpful in regression, and we can talk about that later. So there's no missing data, so all other variables or values we're going to call a 1. Continue. Okay. Now actually, let's do our frequency again. Analyze descriptive frequencies. Let's check this box so we get each individual one. And actually, let's not do that. Sorry. What we want to do is go to our data set and variable labels. Let's notice that the new variable, here we have all these V28s. This is that junk that's still in there. Let's get rid of that. Oh, except that it put our CAge at the bottom of all that. Right click, clear. Now we have our variables that we care about. We're going to click right there, and then we're going to drag this guy. See the red line? We don't want to highlight them all. We want to drag it up, put it next to age. Notice we have our label, age category. Now let's go into our data, and let's actually sort by age. Age, CH. So, and to sort values, we go to data, and there is a sort cases right here. And we want to sort by age. And now when we look at this, we have the youngest kid at 8-1, and notice the category is 0. We go down, and let's see where 1 is. So these are all the younger eyes. There we go. Now look at this. We went to 1.5, but here we have 11 or 11.5. We have 11.5, 11.5, 11.5. 11.5, but it's at 1. 11.5. What's that all about? 11.5 was supposed to be 0. Well, let's look at these numbers. This number carried out is 11.49. Next number is 11.495. That's still a 0. And then the next number actually goes over 11.5. So it's 11.509. So it looks like it's all 11.5s, but it actually, because SPSS remembers the full number, even though we told it just print 1 decimal place, it keeps in its memory the exact size, and we can make a cutoff that's exactly at 11.5. So that's recode. Now, if we look over here, we still, our category age is not labeled. Let's do it so we don't forget. So 0 tab, younger, enter, 1 tab, older. enter. Okay. I could have also said less than 11.5, which actually might be better. If I wanted to change that, younger, less than 11.5. And actually, yeah, that's good. Okay. Now we can look at our data. It's younger. And it's older. All right. Now, we have seen that when we did our data analysis, it lumped everybody together, but maybe we'd like to see what are the values of the data for the different eyes and the different lens types. So we want to split the file. When you split a file, you can run the analysis separately on each piece. So we have this thing that looks at frequencies, and you can't look at the frequencies for different categories like the different eyes within this. You need to, the way you do that is you split the file. So we'll go to Data, Split File. Notice there's Split into files, which is different. We don't want that. And there's split files. Split into files creates separate files for each category. We want to split the files, and we're going to click this Compare Groups, and we're going to do eye, and we're going to do lens type. Now it's going to do the analysis 4 times. Let's go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics. This time we'll do descriptives. And we want age, and we want sphere. I don't think I included sphere or age in the assignment, but it doesn't matter. You can get the idea. Put that over there. The options aren't really anything of interest, although, well, they are kind of. You can take the mean, the sum, standard deviation, minimum, max, variance, range, SE, standard error, kurtosis, skewness. Those things are somewhat useful, but really we probably want mean and standard deviation, and min and max is a little optional. It's maybe helpful for screening to see if there are any outliers. So let's continue. Okay. Now notice we have our descriptive statistics, and hey, I didn't pause the computer either. It's fast. So we have over here left eye, spherical. So it broke it into the 4 pieces. Left eye spherical, aspherical, right eye spherical, aspherical. And we have the number of eyes in each one. Min, max, the mean, and standard deviation. Now, if you were going to do this for the demographic section of your thesis, then you would copy this table into a new sheet in Excel. So you just go click, and you can come up to Edit, Copy, or you could do Control-C. And then you go to your spreadsheet. And I like just adding another sheet to the spreadsheet. And there's 2 kinds of pastes you can do. You can do the fancy one, which I think gets in the way when you're trying to format your table for Excel. It can get in the way. Or this one, which is a plain text fan. Now, if you want to get rid of your min and max column, you just highlight them, delete them. If you want standard deviation to be SD, you can do that. If you want to reduce your the decimal points, because you really don't want 4 decimal points. It doesn't make sense in this. That's under Home. And then there are these 2 functions. This decreases, this increases. Let's decrease it. And there we brought it out to 1 decimal place, which sometimes is okay. Sometimes you have to do these separately or split them up because some numbers can take more decimal points or less decimal points. All right, and then another thing that's often nice to do is you want to center this. So you just come up and just like in Word, you hit center and everything comes up. You can merge your cells, you can box this all in, whatever. It's just make it neat, make it look good, then cut and paste it into your Word document for your thesis. Do not cut and paste SPSS output tables. Create them in Excel, get rid of abbreviations, no KT Horizon, that's not a legit thing. AL1, CCT, unless CCT is okay if you have a table that says CCT means central corneal thickness. For pupil size, you're going to want to add a space in there. So you just make it look good. So this is for publication. You don't want to have trashy looking stuff. Okay, so we now have a little bit of analysis of data. We've looked at the sort function, the recode function, setting our value labels. We've also looked at how we can do categories. One thing, let us just to kind of show something. Let's go into Analyze, Descriptive again. Let's do a box plot like we had there. So we would do that up in, let me see, how do I want to do this? Let's look at, I'm not sure if this is going to work out, but graphs. I like the legacy ones. We go down to box plot. Our file is split now, which may not be the best thing in the world, but let's go to a simple box plot. And let's look at sphere as a function of, at baseline, as a function of age category. And let's see what we get. Now here we have, notice that it labels it. We put age category in the label. We put older and younger in the values. And we have sphere over here. Whatever you put as the label for sphere, like you might want to say sphere and then in diopters or something. And we have our box plots here. At baseline, not too different between the younger and sphere is a little bit lower in the older kids, as you would expect older myopes to have more diopters. Now, this is for the group that's spherical. Lens type is spherical. Left eye, or right eye, I guess these are right eye. Wait a minute, what is that? There's a left eye spherical. This is a left eye aspherical. This is a right eye spherical and a right eye aspherical. Now we're gonna, if you look at the scales, you'll see not everybody is exactly the same, and we work using propensity analysis to kind of address this issue. But that's for a much later time, not now. All right, so I think I have demonstrated everything I wanted to introduce you to. Let's save our output. If we were going to give this to somebody and we weren't going to spend a lot of time writing up a Word document, though that's often a good thing to do, we can export this as a web report. And I'm going to put it on my desktop. It's going to save it as a web report. It's given it the name Output 1. And save. It's doing that. Then let's go find it. Get to the desktop. And output 1. Let's see. Where is output 1? Right there. You get this pretty output. That's not too much of a fun thing, but you can. There's our graphs and our descriptive statistics. So it's kind of a nice little output that you can send. Anybody can read because it's in HTML. And that's it. Thanks for listening.